Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, 9 European heads of state and prime ministers, 5 deputy prime ministers, 2 presidents of EU institutes, 8 EU commissioners, 172 members of the European Parliament, 750 delegates, 700 guests, 75 representatives from observer and associate parties, 200 people from international press, and more than 300 people, staff, crew, and volunteers. Ladies and gentlemen, this is by far the greatest international political assembly in Europe in 2022. Welcome in the Netherlands. Welcome at EPP Congress. Welcome to Rotterdam. Not only is this the biggest and most important, it will also be an historic assembly. Last November, we had to decide at the last moment to postpone. At that moment, we could not imagine how fundamentally our reality would change in those few months. We could not realize how fundamentally the perspective in which the assembly takes place would change. We could not realize how symbolic the city of Rotterdam, city of reconstruction after war, would be. Rotterdam stands with Ukraine. And to be honest, we were not fully aware how important and current, how relevant and appealing the values of our Christian democratic philosophy are for present history. I have 2 daughters, Dana and Luz. They are 24 and 22 years old. You see them shining. They are privileged, well-educated, speak multiple languages, have an international orientation. They took everything for granted. Their future was always full of opportunity. And then came Corona. For the first time in their lives, some things were not possible. No international exchange, graduation online instead of celebrating together. 2 difficult years. And then there was war in Europe. For the first time, they are aware that peace cannot be taken for granted. That our freedom and freedom of speech, of press, is something we have to stand up for. That basic values, human dignity, respect for diversity and differences in beliefs and opinions are something we have to fight for. That society, the intrinsic power of human beings living together and creating a society we believe in, is something that has to be cherished and have to be defended. We stand with democracy. And, ladies and gentlemen, let us be honest. Did we not all take these values for granted? Did we not all become part of the spirit of the age of individualism, lack attention when it comes to building our society? In this society, you and me, the privileged, can support ourselves and find our way. And we assumed the government would solve the problems of others. And that government turned out not to be competent at all when it comes to facing those challenges. And the only political family that took advantage of this lack of awareness, that took advantage of our intellectual and ideological neglect with the populists from both right and left wing. And we gave them the opportunity for political presence. They understood the lack of trust many people have when it comes to answer the society, answering government. They thrive on mistrust. Their business model is to stir up hate, to turn groups of people against each other, and connecting and not connecting and building bridges. And so they worsen problems and enlarge the gap. It's no use blaming them. There is no point attacking their strategy. We have to go back to our own roots. We have to reinvent our own story for and our contribution to society. It was Christian Democrats who started to build up Europe. One of the first presidents of the EPP 40 years ago was Piet Bukman. He would have attended the Congress in November, but unfortunately passed away this March at the age of 88. I welcome his son, Bert, who sits here right in front as our special guest. I spoke at the funeral of his father, but I also met him just a couple of weeks before his passing. Hans, he said, sharp of mind as ever, you, as newly elected president of CDA, have to bring our party back to where it comes from. Not out of misplaced nostalgia, not longing for faded glory, but because our philosophy is of this time frame and incredibly future-proof. Our story is what modern society is longing for. We are People's Party, so we have to stand next to people, shoulder at shoulder. Piet Bukman, at 80 years old, was completely right. We, as CDA in the Netherlands, we had some difficult years. We lost elections, not because of the success of others, but because of the failure to extend a hand to all those people who have lost faith in government, who have lost the hope of a better future. We did not adapt our party structure and culture to modern necessities and working methods. As the party of society, we lost connection with that society. We lost faith in the problem-solving ability of that society itself. So, let us be honest again. In many countries, our party has lost ground. Many member parties are struggling with their role in political fields. We should face this and take action. So, ladies and gentlemen, this Congress is also a call for action, a call for urgency. We can learn from each other and have to unite, not only on political issues, also on our common story, our common contribution to society, as our founders once did. It's a call for action to innovate our organizational structure at European and national level. New generations, my daughters, ask for new ways of working, new ways to engage them with the People's Party. We have to reach to new target groups, more diversity, more cultural backgrounds, more people in cities, more women. It's a call for solidarity and unity within Europe, as a family, shoulder to shoulder, especially for the leaders and people of Ukraine. We stand with Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, there are many signs of hope. In my country, led by our political leader Wopke Hoekstra, with the new elected National Board, with Esther de Lange, our leader of the Dutch EPP fraction, we stand together and realize new impetus. We work on a comprehensive political program for society, shoulder to shoulder, less me, more we. The society that unites people, builds bridges, values and norms, respect communities, associations. We have an answer to neoliberalism and to populism from left and right. At the last municipal elections last March, out of 300 municipalities, we had 100 local party leaders under the age of 40. They all stand for that Christian democratic story in cities and in rural areas, and they were successful. So they are the party of the future and the future of the party. And on a European level, there are also signs of hope as well. Europe was never so united as it is now. Our People's Party family was never so united as it is now. We realize that to face the challenges of the future, this is the moment to get up, stand tall, and roll up our sleeves. So, dear friends, let's make this Congress a milestone in the development of European People's Party. I'm looking forward to meeting you all in the plenary, in the side events, at the Dutch experience with a lot of innovative companies, and in the informal moments. Let us, shoulder to shoulder, stand with democracy, stand for the common values we share. I wish you all an inspiring EPP Congress Rotterdam 2022. And finally, it's an honor for me to introduce two people. For the first time, this EPP Congress will feature a plenary chair both for day 1 and day 2. Former CDA chairwoman, one of my predecessors, Ruud Peetoom. The plenary chair will ensure the correct proceedings of our plenary session and will have the right to intervene as needed. Ruud Peetoom will also function as chair for the voting committee and will, together with the other members of the voting committee, oversee the voting process, and she will announce the results in the plenary. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to introduce to you the host and moderator of the Congress. For many years, she was active in the media and hosted very popular national television shows. She developed successful programs with the aim of improving the position of people with a disability in the Netherlands. And since 2021, we are proud she works on realizing the same goal as a Member of Parliament for our party's CDA. She speaks up for people with a handicap, for difficulty reading, the elderly, as well as the LGBTQI community. Above all, she believes that everyone should get the opportunity to pursue happiness and society should leave no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a big round of applause, Lucille Werner.